Let's talk about putting yourself last on a very long list. If you put yourself on the list at all, of course, which many working parents don't. And we hear this all the time. I'm too busy. I don't have time to give any time to myself. And it's selfish to actually do that. I should be doing everything else first. But have a look at that for a moment, because what's the impact of that? Do you ever get snappy? Do you ever get resentful? Do you ever feel really completely so exhausted that you can't do anything else? These are all indicators that you really haven't given yourself enough time. What's this all about? Well, it's very easy, isn't it, to leave yourself out, because you're only committed to yourself then, whereas in everything else you do, you're committed to everybody else. And you want to say yes to them before you say yes to yourself. And often this comes because you have got so much to do. The reality is you do have a lot of things to manage, so you feel constantly split. And so you should on yourself, and I use that word very deliberately, you should do your work first. You should do something with your family first before you look after you. But as we say to the working parents in our programs, don't should on yourself. And don't let anybody else should on you. So what can you do to put yourself on your list? Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you a confronting question. Do you want your children to be able to self-care and put themselves on their own list? Now, I know the answer to that question will be yes. And that means you're a role model or not in that. Well, it's the same in life. You're managing a great deal of activities across the different roles in your life. You have to look after yourself enough so that you can look after all of that. And the way I look at it is, you've got all sorts of channels coming out of you, haven't you? You've got one for one child, you've got one for another child if you have another child. Sometimes your partner gets a look in. You've got one for your boss. All these things coming out. What are you putting in? So it's time to put yourself on your own agenda. I give you permission to put yourself on your agenda, because you'll do a lot better job of everything else if you do that. And that means you really tuning into what are the things that give me the most energy in the least time, and making that a regular part of your habit.